Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're back in Grand Theft Auto Online for 420 week. As you can see, we have a filter, which I'm displeased about. But anyways, okay, it's alright, whatever. Today we're going to be going over what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. Before we get into the video, if you could drop a like and consider subscribing if you find this style of content useful and you like it. And with that being said, let's get started with the weekly challenge, which this week is going to be paying $420,000. And that's going to be to complete 5 waves of the new Stoner Survival, which is new this week, so we're going to talk about that now. Now, oddly, when I go to search for this Stoner Survival, it's not here, at least not under Survivals. But anyway, it's going to be paying 4 times money and RP this week, so it should actually be a decent way to make some money. I'm just trying to see if I can find it here while we talk about it. I literally don't think it's here, unless you have to unlock it somehow, but I'm not really sure. Anyway, we also have a new map for Hunting Pack Remix, Get Lamar. It looks like maybe potentially 4 new maps, or maybe just 1 new map out of the 4. So anyway, that's on 4 times money in RP. That's a decent way to make some money if you have some friends to play with, so give it a shot maybe. And we also have 4 times money on pizza delivery as well. So that's actually going to be somewhat of a good way to make money this week, honestly. The first dose missions to unlock the acid lab, those ones, they are on triple money and triple RP. This is actually going to be a pretty good way to make money, and you're obviously going to be able to unlock the acid lab as well, which is huge. So if you don't have the acid lab, there is never going to be a better time to unlock it than now, because at least for doing these missions, which are slightly annoying and a little bit tedious, they can be, at least depending on what kind of mood you're in, but now is going to be the best time to grind them out and get them done, because you're going to be making triple money. So make sure to take advantage of that if you need to this week. We also have the short trip missions on double money and double RP. And then of course the final bonus, and honestly the best bonus of the week, we have double money on weed sale missions. And that's through the MC business itself, but also through the nightclub basement as well. Now the nightclub basement bonus is basically going to do effectively nothing, but the actual weed farm bonus, not too bad, especially if you pair it with your mansion boost. So make sure you guys are taking advantage of that for sure. Now, to get started with discounts this week, we have some pretty great ones starting us off. We have 50% off of drinks at the nightclub or the Diamond Casino or the Music Locker. We have the Green Space Horror Suit, 50% off. And we also have a green tire smoke, 50% off as well. So all of that stuff is cheap this week, I guess. All right, we also have the weed farm, including upgrades, 40% off this week. Now, if you're going to be buying a weed farm this week, the only location to get, as far as I'm concerned, is the Sanchiansky mountain range location. It's the cheapest. It's pretty centrally located on the map. Now, personally, I do own the weed farm in Vinewood. I don't think it was worth me selling my other one to get the Vinewood one, so I would absolutely advise just buy the cheapest one and then buy all the upgrades for it as well if you can while they're on discount. 40% off, just do it this week. You'll make your money back as long as you make sure it has supplies and you sell it maybe twice, maybe 3 times this week, so really not bad. Buy a weed farm by the Sanchiansky mountain range location. And we might as well take care of this right off the bat as well. The Vapid Festival bus is 50% off. Now, I do not recommend the festival bus under any circumstance really, but if you've been waiting for it, if you've been wanting one for whatever reason, I don't even want to know the reason, now is going to be probably the best time ever to buy it. 50% off. It is never going to be a better deal than this. I really honestly do not think it ever will be. It is a Pegasus vehicle. That is something you should know. I do not recommend this vehicle, but if you've been wanting it. Starting us off with regular discounts on Elitist, we have 30% off of the Nagasaki Ultralight. Actually a very underrated aircraft. It has some crazy modifications you can do through the hangar workshop, including you can put a weapon on it, and you can put a carbon prop upgrade, which will remove it from the radar when it's not under throttle, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's how that works. But the Ultralight, actually really cool. Everybody should have an ultralight in GTA. I think it's a really cool vehicle for PvPing at least. Not everybody should have one, but if you PvP ever, or if you play in public sessions ever, or if you ever fight people in GTA, the ultralight could be a cool vehicle for you to use. For 350k, kind of can't go wrong with it in my opinion. On Legendary Motorsport, under the two-door section, we have the Imponte Nightshade, discounted by 30% off. This is honestly a really cool car. It has like basically nothing in the way of customization. and it's not the best car to drive. But if you're a fan of old Camaros, old muscle cars, for $409,000, kinda can't go wrong with it in my opinion at least. So if the Nightshade seems like an interest to you, I'd say give it a shot this week. Now under the 4-door section on Legendary, we have the Gallifender Baller STD and the Baller ST. Now if you're on a budget, the Baller ST is a pretty fine SUV, especially for $467,000. Really not that much money, really not a bad price to pay for it. However, if you want the absolute best performance, you're going to want to buy the Baller STD. Now it has better customization than the Baller ST and better performance. They're both all-wheel drive, they both handle roughly the same. The STD I would say is a little bit better. STD generally is just a little bit more modern than the Baller ST. Out of the two, I'd make sure to buy the Baller STD, and another reason for that is because it has some money tech upgrades and it comes with bullet resistant windows too, which is pretty cool. So that's an additional selling point with the Baller STD, I would say, over the Baller ST. But if you buy the Baller ST, you probably won't be like disappointed. Just understand that you are going to get a worse performing vehicle with worse customization and, in my opinion at least, worse looks than the Baller STD with the Baller ST. I know that's probably really confusing how I'm saying that. This one, for if you're on a budget, this one is if you have money. Out of the two, I would recommend the Baller STD. Scrolling further down, we also have the Pfister Neon, an electric sports car. It's a 4-door. It's not the best car ever, to be honest. It looks great, and customization wise, it's got a few little things you can do to it here and there that aren't bad. However, the Neon, like every other electric car in GTA, just has really weird handling. I don't know how to describe it. It understeers, then it snap oversteers. It just doesn't feel that great to drive in the corners. Now, very quick in a straight line, up to a low top speed. I believe the top speed in this thing is like 110 miles per hour, maybe, if it's even that. So not very quick in a straight line as far as top speed goes. Very quick to get to top speed, and yeah, just poor handling. I don't really recommend the Neon unless you're like a super fan of the Porsche Taycan in real life. If you're not, avoid it. And under the motorcycle category, we have the Shih Tzu Hakuchu Drag. This is an absolute must buy in my opinion. I mean, it's not, at this point, is it even an opinion or is it a fact? I mean, it's got a missile lock-on jammer available for it and HSW upgrades, making it the fastest motorcycle in Grand Theft Auto Online, the fastest land vehicle for getting from point A to point B, albeit with some risk involved. Other than the Banshee GTS, that's the Hakuchu Drag, man. It is really, really good. For $683,000, you should absolutely be buying this. Even if you don't have HSW available on your platform, it is still absolutely worth owning this motorcycle. Truly one of the best vehicles in the entire game. Everybody should be buying that one this week if you don't have one already. So yeah. Over on Dock Tees, if for some reason you've ever wanted to own a tugboat, don't, please. But if you want to, for whatever reason, $875,000 this week. It's so slow. It's a Pegasus vehicle. That's all I really have to say. Yeah, it's the tugboat. I would avoid it personally, but I do own one. I've used it for a couple things here and there. Will you use it as much as you think you will? No, you won't. Please don't buy it. For most people, at least. All right, moving on to Southern San Andreas Subaru Autos. Under the 2-door category, we have the Declasse Walton L35 for $1,169,000. Typically, even at this price, I tell people not to buy this truck because I just simply don't think it's worth this much money. But this week in particular, we have a comparison that's also on discount and is much better value for money, in my opinion. So I would say for most players, you're going to want to avoid the Walton L35. If you've had your eye on it for a while and you've wanted one, buy it while it's on discount for sure. But for most players, it's just not going to pay for itself with this price tag. Like, the value is just not there with the Walton L35. It's a cool truck, it's fun to drive, it's good off-road, all those things, but it's not worth $1.2 million. It just isn't. Especially when you compare it to the Vapid Caracara 4x4, which is $612,500 this week, discounted. Out of the two, buy the Caracara every single time. It has better customization, maybe not better customization. It has good customization, so does the Walton, they both do. But the Caracara, while it is a little bit slower than the Walton top speed wise, I think it makes up for it in the price. I mean, this thing is literally like half the price of the Walton L35 this week. It is absolutely the better truck, in my opinion, as far as value for money goes. I think it's more capable off-road, to be honest. It just is a little bit slower in a straight line and might have a slightly worse set of customization. Maybe, depends who you ask, but I personally would take the Caracara every time this week. I would buy 2 of these before I buy a Walton, to be honest. Within the casino, we have the Western Reaver available to be won. You should absolutely try to get this thing for sure. It is a really fast bike. It has a speed glitch as well that actually takes it up to a higher top speed than the Hakuchu Drag that we talked about earlier, but you have to be wheeling to get that speed glitch to actually work. So that is something to note, but if you can get this thing for free, it's like a $1.9 million bike. Absolutely come here and try to do it. Within the LS car meet this week, we have the BF Club available to be won, and in order to win this thing, you're gonna have to place top 4 for 3 days in a row. Not too bad. It's a really good car. It goes for $1,280,000 normally. It's one of the best compact cars in the entire game. Definitely try to win it if you can. These are the vehicles available in the car meet. We have the Vapid Click, the Dubachi Rapid GT Classic, and the Vapid Hustler. Now the Hustler is too much money for what you're actually getting. 625k is crazy. The Dubachi Rapid GT Classic though, for only 200 grand more, you're getting a lot more car for your money. It's a very fun car to drive. Good handling, good acceleration, decent top speed, so don't be afraid to buy this one this week. But we also have the Vapid Click for $909,000. Now, formerly, this is one of the best muscle cars to use for racing. However, it's been overshadowed by the STX, so I personally don't really think it's super worth it. Out of the 3, the only one I would really recommend is the Dubachi Rapid GT Classic, but I would maybe wait for it to go on sale, to be completely honest. And of course, we have the Coral Cyclone 2 in here, which you should never ever buy. It's $2.9 million. Don't do it. At Simeon's, we have some pretty cool vehicles. We got the Albany Alpha here for $150,000. I think this car is worth owning. I would definitely buy that. We got the Ina Super Diamond with some interesting wheels on it in a cool color. 250k. I don't think it's a bad price. The Super Diamond is a pretty iconic car. I think it's pretty cool. We also have the Vapid Riata, which is pretty sweet, for $385,000. And the Coquette Blackfin as well for $695,000. And the Benefactor XLS for, I believe, $253,000. Not too bad. Out of all these vehicles, the Albany Alpha is the cheapest and the best, in my opinion. The Coquette Blackfin sounds excellent as well. XLS is a cool SUV, no customization though, and the Super Diamond is kind of the same, no customization at all. However, the Riata does have a lot of customization and it's great off-road, so consider those factors if you decide to buy any of these vehicles. Unfortunately though, no discounts. The black box file is going to be your priority file in the Garment Factory this week. Your salvage yard robbery targets are going to be the Pegasi Ignis for completing the podium robbery. The McTony robbery is going to get you the Vapid Dominator ASP, and the cargo ship robbery is going to get you the Dinka Kanjo SJ. However, none of them are claimable, so you cannot keep any of them. At Luxury Autos, we have 2 vehicles that are available on the websites, so I don't really recommend buying either here. The gun van today, if you're watching this the day that it comes out, is going to be here at the Sawmill on the north end of the map. At the gun van, we get the battle rifle, the military rifle, the railgun, the heavy sniper, pump shotgun, battle axe, stun gun, and the baseball bat for free, guys. Okay, listen, free baseball bat, all right? So we got that. Throwables, we got Molotov, sticky bombs, and tear gas, and body armor is, of course, 10% off as well, so that's pretty sweet. Your RC Bandito time trial today is Cypress Flats. Junk Energy is going to be Mirror Park. Your regular time trial is Power Station, and your HSW time trial starts right here, and it is Ron Alternates to Elysian Island. So it's going to start right here. You're going to go all the way down the highway to the very bottom of Elysian, and that is where it is going to end. So there you have it. That's been it for what to buy and what to avoid this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. Really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider dropping a like and subscribing if you guys are new. I will have my weekly money guide coming out tomorrow as well, so stay tuned for that. With that said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, take care. Peace.